ask different questions than I did on Saturday, but going back and looking at it, looks like you guys really had some trouble blocking offensive line, tight end, running back. How do you get around that?
Well, I think we're going to look at some different scenarios up front, see if we can't. Sometimes there's a difference in panic and a difference in really reviewing what we're trying to do and who's trying to do it. So we may shake up the offensive line a little bit, and you have to practice it. So you have to see if what you think might works in practice. I think that would be one way. We got to make some guys miss at running back. Our quarterback has to play consistent, and we've got to be able to get open. If you look at it, I think offensively, I think a lot of it's been maybe tagged on the offensive line, and there's certainly problems there. But there's a lot of areas that we can get better at, and we're going to open completely up our tight end situation and see who can play in there, because obviously we've been a little bit of musical chairs there as well, with the exception of Luke. But we've got to do a better job coaching. We have to do a better job with the details. That we found a positive in the penalties. We cut that down, which I think hurt us, and with some results of winning and losing. So that was one positive. But we all have to play better, and we have to get some explosive plays. Obviously, unfortunately, we could have tied the game up. Those plays we need, and I think our team. I'll have a better feel of them this afternoon, but I've talked to a lot of the kids today, and Trey, we lost 3 in a row 2 years ago and bounced back pretty good, and I think we will again, but I don't know that we can continue to do the same things and say, well, we're just going to get better at them. I think we've got to shuffle some things up to maybe ignite a spark into us a little bit, because I do think we've got good players, and we just got to play better and coach better.
Just on those points, I mean, Dominic Johnson's worked a little tight end. I don't know if that's maybe something you mean, but we know Kudus has played some center.
Yeah.
Lemmer can play guard. Latham can play tackle. Are those some of the things that you're talking about?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think you hit most of them. Exactly what we're doing. I think lost in this a little bit. I've been fairly pleased with our defense. 3 turnovers, things of that nature. So, but offensive, I think you hit on some of the moves that we're going to look at.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering with guys like Kudus and Chamblee and Manuel specifically, what are things that maybe could happen for them to kind of speed the game up a little bit, or even slow it down for them?
Yeah, that you're right. On the second half of that, it's got to slow down somehow for them. A lot of times that's just playing experience. Obviously, you're going to make a few more mistakes technique-wise as well when you're younger. But I think we have the guys, the 5 best. I don't know that we have them in the correct position. We may, but I think we're going to look at some of that changing to maybe help them, maybe simplify it, maybe put them by an older guy that can, help them, communicate with them, things of that nature. Obviously, in the first 5 games, we thought we had them exactly where fall camp, spring ball combination would be. What happened a little bit with Dev is he didn't practice basically for 3 or 4 weeks. He got behind mentally. And so he's got to catch up. The only way I know how to do that is he's got to rep that. We can't move him. He's behind mentally, so we have to keep him in that spot to me. But some of the other guys with some veterans around them, I think will help them. But to answer your question, I don't know how you speed that up without practice and playing. It's hard to become a sophomore when you're still a freshman, but I think it's just experience. And they got to do something well. And I think any confidence, then that helps them do something again well.
And then I know you were asked about Marquise Gomes after the game, but I'm curious with him specifically, what is it that maybe has been, I guess, causing him to not play as much? I know Luke has been really good, but I feel like, transfer from North Texas, his film was great. What do you want to see more from him?
Yeah, his film was good. And he's a good player. The physicality part of it, again, his ability to make plays, he has it. He just has to make them. A lot of his, to be honest with you, a lot of his non-playing was because of Luke, because they were very similar in blocking, but route running as far as where their assets were. So I think you'll see a good player from him. I do. Just one that wasn't able to get on the field quite as much because Luke was ahead of him.
Just watching the second half of LSU Ole Miss, it looks like Ole Miss attacked you inside. They attacked the edges on you. What can you speak to me? What you see out of their offense?
Oh man, well, Dart's really good. I mean, really good. Those two running backs are, I think, they're as good as anybody has. Both of them. I mean, they're good. Judkins is really special. The transfer from SMU 24 is really good. Kickoff returner as well. Their line, they got three veterans, center over right, and then they went in transfer portal and got a couple of good players on the offensive line. But I think Coach, he runs the ball quite a little bit, and I would too if I had those, if I had them running backs, like we're trying to do. But you see a lot of explosives. For us to win, we're going to have to cut those explosive plays out, and that's four going up the middle of the field as well. But they basically run 4 running plays. It basically is what it is, and off of that they have either RPO or read from the quarterback. And Dart's a lot faster than I want him to be. But they've got playmakers everywhere. They got, I think, 3 receivers over 300 yards catching, and just really scary. I mean, they're explosive. I think we'll have a good game plan as always. But and their tight end's a good player. I don't think he played maybe week 2 and 3, but he's back now, and he's a good player.
And this as a fan, this series has been wild. It's been a lot of fun games.
Yeah.
What do you think of when you think of, hey, we're about to play Ole Miss, just kind of generally?
Well, I think the first thing you think is offense. We got to score a lot of points, to stay in the game. You think of Lane Kiffin and I don't know the word mastermind, whatever. I mean, he's as good as a play caller as there is in the game. And so you think of those two things. Pete Golding has done a great job with their defense. I know that, obviously they gave up some points Saturday night. I guess that's why people like college football, games like that. It was incredible. But they are much better up front than they have been on defense, and now they're knocking the hell out of you from the back end. But when you think of the series, it's been a fun series, and we've had some success in the series since I've been here. Obviously, we got bowl eligible last year, playing Ole Miss, so I have a lot of respect for them. Playing over there at night, we did not. The last time I was here, when we lost by 1, or the last time we went over there, it was a morning game, if I'm correct. But I think of I think it's going to be one hell of a game for the fans to watch, and we're excited to go over there. But you think about the offense and all the points and all the playmakers they have.
You mentioned earlier that you were happy with the defense for now. What is kind of the DC's done well in their first year here?
Well, they're getting to play sound football and hard football. We're giving less and less explosives. We're where we're supposed to be. I think our guys are really taken to the fellas, and I believe in them and things of that nature. And I just think they're playing hard and they're playing sound football, and we have a few more players depth wise than what we had last year, allowing us to do that, I think.
Coach, you mentioned one more offensive line question. You mentioned shuffling things up. You've got some youth on the offensive line. I know you're the head coach, have to worry about the whole team, but given your background, how much of a hands-on approach do you take with that unit?
On the field, not a tremendous amount on the field. Off the field, we've got a great offensive line coach, the same one that, we led the Power 5 in rushing 2 years ago, and same one that everybody tries to get when the season's over with. So off the field, I have a lot of what's the word? Input, and not input. It's not counseling either. It's off the field. I have several questions about what we're doing, how we're doing it, this, that, and other. I wanted to be conscious that I didn't want to overstep anybody's boundary as the offensive line coach, and because we've got a really good one, he'll get it fixed as good as anybody can. So, but to answer your question, not a whole lot on the field.
And then with Rocket, how close was he to 100% on Saturday, and how has he maybe bounced back the last couple of days?
Yeah, I don't think he was 100%. It'd be hard for me to think, he'd be out for 3 games and then be able to come in there and just. I do think he brought a spark to the team as far as being back and all those type things. But I think if you watch the game, I don't think you would think that he was at 100%. Still got a little fluid there, but he'll obviously be better this week than he was last week. But he went out there and played hard and all those things. But I don't think he was the old Rocket yet. But I think he certainly will get there.
And do you have any updates on maybe Nudie, Morgan? I don't think Jashad Stewart traveled either. You have some updates on those guys?
Yeah, Stu's got a growing issue. So I don't know if he'll be back or not. Nudie, there's a possibility, but I don't think he'll practice today. And he said somebody else. John, that's great news. I mean, John, talked to him Saturday night when we got back. He was in great spirits. He had another test this afternoon that I haven't heard the results of that yet, or it's having one this afternoon. That the results that way, he hadn't had tests, so how could you get the results? And then, but he's in great spirits. Honestly, I think he got hit right here, and like a punch, but I think I would think that he would have an opportunity to play this week.
Sam, Dart, obviously everybody thinks about him as a passer, but he ran for 50 yards. I don't know if you saw this play, but he hurtled over a guy. And I'm thinking, man, I don't know how my quarterback doing that. And I don't know what you think about his running. He did that. And then Isaiah, he's obviously, literally is a hurdler in track. What'd you think of that move he did? Or would you rather not have a guy do that? Maybe put himself in a bad spot to get hit, in the wrong spot?
Well, Dart, like I said before, he's fast, Ole Miss, it looked like they're having fun, and he's jumping over people and to answer your question, I've seen every play they've had this year, offense, defense, and special teams. So I've seen them. That's why I look a little tired. But yeah, the thing about him is he's a great passer, but he's just fast and athletic. Isaiah's, and if a woulda, coulda, shoulda, he lands on his feet. He just lands on his feet without the ball. His knee actually knocked the ball out of his hand. If he has the ball in his hand, he may still be running, So I really like what he's brought to us. I know he had a little bit of ball issue on Saturday, but we're not going to give up on him. I think he brings a lot to us, and I really like his athleticism. He's one of them guys that wants to do that. You know what I mean? And you got to find a guy that really wants to do that, and like Smith, like he does at A&M. So,
And then Alabama, Ole Miss only scored 10 against Alabama, and a lot of that has to do with Alabama where they're playing and all that. But it seemed like Kiffin took a lot of heat. And the next week they come back and they just, 55. And you just mentioned you saw the place. What do you see that was different? Obviously different. What do you see maybe different from them, from the Alabama to the LSU game?
Well, I think schematically as well. I think schematically there was two different schemes ran, two different coverages, things of that nature. Alabama's front four, their two ends had put quite a little bit of pressure, and they couldn't run the ball quite as well as they did against LSU. LSU, they had success. It's hard to stop somebody if they're having success both in the run and the pass. You got to make them one-dimensional, and I think Alabama had an opportunity to do that a little bit more. But here's the bottom line. They missed some plays against Alabama, or that game could have been different too, because they had some guys and they just, things they hit against LSU, they just missed against Alabama. But Alabama, they've been playing that defense for a long time, and they've got big physical guys. And I just think the difference is they weren't able to run the ball quite as well as they did against LSU, and then they didn't play up as well against Alabama's front four as they did against LSU, which allowed which allowed Dart opportunities to make some plays.
Coach, on the tight end point, do you see on Saturday, do you see Gums getting the majority of reps with the ones? Do you see it sort of being a by committee sort of situation? How do you see that going?
Yeah, I think what we're going to do, that's a good question. I think what we're going to do is we're going to play two of them with the first group, two of them with the second group. We're going to let them battle it out and figure out who it is on Saturday. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think there's any of them that have really excelled over the other guy or anything like that. You have two different types of guys. You have Washington and Gums, and then you have Bax and Francis. They're kind of over here and they're kind of over here. So we're just going to let them battle it out this week and get them all the equal amount of reps and see who we're going to throw out there on first.
Obviously, it's impossible to completely replace Luke's production, but you did talk in the offseason about how deep this group is, a couple transfers. What have you seen from the group as a whole that gives you confidence that at least it'll be an asset for KJ moving forward?
Yeah, and I think you look at Gums and Tyrus; those guys are Luke has his type-ish. If you go that direction. So one of those two guys, and I believe that they can. I mean, I don't. Obviously, Luke was a first team guy, so we felt like he was the best tight end that we had. But I do think our depth is better than what it was a year ago, and we'll certainly find out, I guess, Saturday. But I feel confident in the group.
Sam, you talked in the preseason about KJ being a leader of the team, not just the offense. I'm just curious how you've seen him kind of respond to the adversity the last few weeks. Just how's he interacting with guys behind the scenes?
He's been great. KJ's been here before. I remember I don't think he'll mind me sharing. It was after the LSU game, and I was just talking about we got to stay together. We got to get better. And when I got through, he said, "Coach, we've been here before," and it made me feel good. Like we've lost 2 games in a row before, and we've come back. And he said it in front of the team. So our team, I think, is resilient. I believe they are, and we'll find out as the weeks keep going. But we got a lot of football left, and to be honest with you, we need one. We need to get one, and then that'll help us into something else. But we need to find a win, and obviously we're going to try like hell on Saturday.
Looking at the schematics versus physicality on the offensive push,
Yeah.
what do you think the mix is on what you might have to change schematically versus how much more physical you might need to be?
Well, I think physicality is something that we certainly have to, and we have been addressing. Schematics, I think you can stay with your base run package, but you've got to have something that when you call it, that you think you can get a touchdown, you can get 20, you can get, something off of maybe a similar look that comes off of it. A little bit more LSU-ish, that we tried to do some things there. But I think, obviously we're still running stretch, and we ran it well for, 3 years in a row. And sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. I went back and looked at last year's game, and in that game, sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. But when we did, we went 50. We went 30. We went. And for whatever reason, and whether we're not straining hard enough, not getting on second level, whatever, we're not having those plays. AJ did, I think, against BYU, and other than that, we're not doing it. So it's got to either be the strain, the physicality, or the position that the kids are playing. So we're going to move it around a little bit.
And then I got to ask you about Tesla the other night, maybe 5 targets.
Yeah.
Is a separation thing an issue, or is he getting
I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. Guys, a couple things. Let me answer the question. I'll tell you a couple things. One, if your quarterback doesn't have time to throw it, that's going to affect all your numbers as your receivers. Whether you got Traylon Burks out there or whether you don't, if you're nervous or you're having to do too much in the pocket, you're not going to be able to get the ball to Burks. You know what I mean? We have had that conversation about Tesla because we moved him to slot. And my question was, did that hurt his production back? And I look at it, I don't think so. I think more what's hurting those guys is just time to get the ball to him. Because I think he's still getting open. It's just, oh, you should throw that. Well, that's easy to say unless you got 5 300-pounders coming, getting close to you. And the other thing I was going to say too is, when we go in after a game and we don't be nervous. When we go in after a game, I want you to know something, that I'm trying to answer your questions, but where I don't see it, like, in other words, I haven't had the replay of it. I see it one time and I'm on the field, so I'm looking way over. Sometimes I don't see it. They say the old coach speak, he coaches in coach speak. I think that came because you don't want to seem like a dummy and say, well, I didn't see it, but you go, oh, well, so you make up something, you know what I mean? And so sometimes when we come in after a game, it's hard to answer all the questions because some of it I just don't know. And maybe I just say, I don't know. I didn't see it, but y'all get a chance to see it on replay. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why I said that, but I did.
Sam, on the two long punt returns by A&M,
Yeah.
Fletcher punted it 60+ yards. Was that more? With those, do you have to like have him dial it back a little bit, or do you need to tell the coverage unit to get down there faster? Like, what's the balance there?
Another good conversation that we had, and we have had. Now, it didn't hurt us until that night. He was booming to a really good punt returner, and we knew it. First of all, we thought that we could win at the Gunners and be close. Now, not 5 yards, not 2 yards close. We knew we was going to have a 10-yard cushion, but we did feel comfortable that we could get him on the ground. I think there's twofold. You tell Max to kick it out of bounds, or you tell him to take something off. We've all seen taking something off don't work. That's not his deal. So I went back and just said, hey, Mac, kick the damn thing as far as you can kick it. We'll cover it. You know, put it in the zone. Don't put it in the middle of the field, things of that nature. And it stung us, you know, the other night. We are going to look into if we feel like we've got a dangerous guy back there looking to kick it out of bounds. You also have that problem with taking something off of it, kicking it out of bounds. Is out of bounds. What's out of bounds is at 12 yards, you know, things of that nature. So we've got to really work on that and see if we can get consistent with, you know, because before we're just now getting consistent punting it, you know what I mean, and doing a really good job. So there's a little bit of that going on.
I know Saturday was obviously no time to celebrate, but KJ did set 2 career records. Is that just one of your thoughts on that? And is that something maybe today you acknowledge that in front of the team, or do you just move on like, hey, that was a crappy game, or how do you approach that?
Probably not, nor do I, but that's not, you know, things have changed a little bit about social media because all the kids know it. You know, if they're on any type of, they already know it. You know what I mean? And that was Saturday, and now it's Monday. And you know, I'm really weird about awards and all that kind of stuff, records, all that. You know, obviously, if I would have, if we'd have won or something like that, or you know what I mean, in the locker room or something, that would have been a really special moment. But I had forgot all about it, to be honest with you. But it's really a great, you got to stay healthy for a long period of time, and you got to be a good player to set any type of record. And I'm real happy for him. And I hope he puts it so far out there that the next guy's got a long way to go to catch it. But I'm really happy for him.
Coach, you've mentioned explosive plays a couple times, both in Ole Miss's ability to make them and your defense's growing ability to stop them. Are you confident with where your defense is at to be able to limit those big plays coming up on Saturday?
Yes, I am, against a really good offensive team. And that may be limited to 5, might be limited to 3. It may be, they're going to get some. I mean, you know it, I know, everybody knows it. You know what I mean? But it can't be 10. It can't be 12. It can't be, I mean, can't let them get behind us, you know. LSU obviously did, you know, and if yes, to answer your question, I'm confident in our defense, and I think they're making huge strides as the season goes on.
You know, maybe Lane has revolutionized blending coaching with social media
He's great at
awareness. What do you, just your take on that?
He's great at it. You know, I look at Coach Kiffin in that as he just doesn't care. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for the man, but I mean, if somebody says something to him, he'll come right back on. I bet it don't bother him an ounce. If he wants to make a joke on there about something, I think he's special. I mean, he has a special gift there that I don't think it bothers him. And it might. I don't want to speak for him. But Mike Leach, he had a special gift of after the game, whether he won or lost, I mean, he was like, well, we prepared. I don't know what he was inside, but it was like, well, we prepared. We did the best we could. And dadgummit, Sam, we missed a field goal. Now I'm going to go on social media and say it's open tryouts. You know what I mean? And he just had a gift. And I would watch him when I watched TV coming off and after losses. I mean, he'd be so nice, you know. And I mean, we're all nice, but you know what I mean? Like genuine, proud, happy for you, all this. We got to play better, whatever it might be. To me, Lane's got that same ability with social media. And instead of fighting it, he just goes with it. And you know, obviously, I wish I had that ability. I don't. And but I respect how he handles all that. And you know, he takes some jabs and things of that nature. And I think it's all in good nature, though.
You have it with us. You have that ability with us.
Thank you.
KJ, obviously, 2 years ago, he went back and he had a hell of a game. Just maybe,
Man.
do you think this kind of means something to him being that close?
Well, I'm sure it does. I mean, you know, I think everybody in life needs a little bit of motivation, you know, to get to whatever you need to get. But I think this is, you know, obviously a big deal going back. Last time we were down there, we just didn't quite get it done, but it sure wasn't because of him. If I look back in my, well, going on 4 now, in my 4 years, there's a couple games stick out. One was Missouri, his very first time. We lost. And then the next one was Ole Miss. We lost that one too, but it wasn't because of KJ. You know, he was outstanding. And we'll get rolling. I believe in this team and I believe in our coaching staff. And I'm really excited to get over to Ole Miss, see what happens Saturday night. All right, guys.